Greetings once again, viewer. Thank you for joining our NGM features. We have Bob Dunn back with us. Bob right now is in my house, so I am so thankful you're here. Let's get right into it. We're going to talk about this great old and yet kind of recycled or new opportunity of ministry called Release Time.
Yes, as we look at the shift of how we are engaging with our students today, we just say, well, here's this campus that our kids go to. Usually a public high school, there's private, there's Christian, but if we looked at the majority of kids, they're on a high school campus. How do we impact them? And we don't want to say that what Young Life and Youth for Christ and FCA have done on there, they have a tremendous ministry. But what if we could impact them on a day-to-day basis on there? What we have found out that has been around for over 100 years is what's called Release Time. Goofy name, sounds like you're getting out of jail, but it's for kids, it may be that. But they get to have biblically based education that they're able to come and get somewhere, whatever that is. So it has been something that has been around a long time. What we found was that an organization called School Ministries probably had the greatest umbrella. Hold up a little bit of plug for them, but that we can be a part of. We chose to partner with them. Schoolministries.org. You can go on. They got a great video and information on there. Was that they have been doing Release Time across the United States, majority of states, somewhere between 40 and 50,000 kids that are in Release Time. What we've looked at in Arizona, coming from Phoenix, is that high school time. That's the last point where we can just pour into kids and we lose them. 80% of kids make a decision before 18, but yet 60-70% are leaving their faith afterwards. Something's wrong with that. So we found that we can actually come in. Parents have to sign off. That's a critical part, that a kids can come to a Release Time. And three things that it has to have to be legal: can't be on public school campus, can't be using public school funds or the teachers from that school. So they are away from that. You find out, we have churches that are right next door. It's within walking distance. We have one that has students somewhere, about 50 students between the third hour and fifth hour. They come over to the church. Every day you get a student for 40.
For a Bible class.
For a Bible class. And leadership, biblical leadership. Could you imagine what we could do to develop disciples in kids' lives if you had them for 40 minutes every day?
Wow.
And in that, they come over, they get Old Testament survey, New Testament survey, some worldview, apologetics, how to defend their faith, how to share their testimony. And we're sending kids back onto their campus on mission to reach their campus.
So when a student decides they want to jump in on this, is this like, let me say for kids ministry, VBS, where they can just kind of show up on a Monday, not show up for 3 days, show up on a Friday? Or is this like a class they register for? How does that operate?
Yeah, they have got to register for the class. It's usually done through the office.
Okay.
And you can get all this information on how to through School Ministries, but they will walk you through that. Okay. But they have to come in, they have to sign out at the office in it. Right. Parents have to give approval for their son or daughter to be able to go to Release Time. And they walk away or they walk over to the campus and they do that. Okay. So
now is there any I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, they come over and then they get instruction, this kind of thing in that.
Is there any kind of academic, there's training, it's a Bible class or leadership, whatever, but are there assignments? Is there homework involved or how's that?
Depending on the district, there has to be some type of evaluation, this kind of thing. Most of it is just attendance because it has been recognized and passed by the Supreme Court in the 1950s. There's not a lot of refuting that it can't be done, it can't be legal. It just depends on different districts how it's put into it. But it is legal to have that. The thing that we found out in 6 states in the United States is that they have passed through the state house and the legislature, the Senate, the House, and the governor's signature to get school credit. Now that becomes a game changer for a student because then they get some type of elective credit or this kind of thing towards graduation to be able to come. Versus coming and then having a 0 hour they got to make up for it, or an online class to make sure that they graduate with the proper credits.
So how does our viewer find out if their state is already accredited for that? Or not accredited, but approved of that?
Yeah, you can go to schoolministries.org and they list all the states on there. They got a lot of different links on there and this kind of thing. You can look at it and you can see which states are, which states are not. They'll give you a lot of the legal jargon. In fact, they have attorneys. I pulled this out. They've done a lot of the work that you'd say,
really.
I didn't think we could do this. I didn't think separation of church and state can happen, this kind of thing. They put together booklets, this kind of thing, how to keep it legal, how to do it, what are the steps in doing it, how do you get teachers to do it. So it's not laid just on the youth pastor who says, oh my goodness, that would be great, but I am so busy with Sunday morning and Wednesday night and small groups and my staff, I could not oversee that or do that every day. Okay, that's all right. It is the big C church of churches in that community coming around that school and them saying we will commit. That will be a core value of our student ministry is the release time at that school. So if you had 50 kids in your youth ministry and say 8 of your kids were a part of this, that would be some of your core leaders and some of your students to be involved with that. And then they're with other churches and they realize at that point, we can go and have an impact, and we're seeing just major things happen in schools.
So your church, hypothetically, let's play it out. So your church is next door to the campus. Let's say you're the host, the facility. But then our church, you take Mondays, I take Tuesdays, 3 others take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So in other words, it's not all on you or one church to put together not just the curriculum, but also
the time,
the processing, and so you could share that load, that responsibility, that teaching load, to use the academic term there. Okay, so that's sweet. What about the students that are attending? Are these mostly believers? Are these unbelievers? More what we call seekers, or what are you finding with that?
Well, in the beginning, we found mainly kids coming from churches that said, their youth pastor said, man, you ought to come to this, and they want that release time to come.
Right.
What we're finding in what school ministries is you look on their site, because they do a wide sweep from like your elementary school when you went to it when you were a kid through high school, is that the main emphasis on those kids is that kids come to it. They have stats showing up to 40% of the kids that come to release time meet Jesus in that release time.
Wow.
So evangelistically, where would you put your time, money, and effort?
So as opposed to me necessarily getting into, which I'm a fan of, and I have done it over the years, but getting into coaching or visiting the lunch classroom, and not saying don't do that, because that's also what I call level 1 or entry level ministries. But now you can take it to the next level and invite those students, or someone's inviting those students to this Bible class or this leadership class, this release time. It just blows me away. Bob just said that I did it as a child. In upstate New York, we had this when I was a little kid growing up, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. The school system bused us to 3 churches in our little town. My daddy was the Baptist preacher, so the Baptist church, Methodist church, Roman Catholic church. Or you could sit there in class. So that's a question I have. The students that don't attend this, is this like their chem class is still going on, their calculus class, just they're in the rhythm of their class? So then, Joey isn't in calc, Joey goes to release time. How does that operate?
Well, and that's where, as you find out from district to district, the schools have a certain structure, and some students have to take core classes to graduate.
Right.
So you would try not to have that where some of the major classes, core classes are, and it would be during their elective time.
So you're doing your homework. You're doing your homework.
You've got to study, and you're working with the school in it. But in the end, what they're finding out is that some of the best students, the best leaders, the ones that have taken leadership in so many areas in the school, they're finding out what's the correlation with these students. Oh, they're all in the release time program and going that. Yeah. So it just elevates administration. What administration would not want kids to be able to come to something that has strong leadership principles? And they really nowadays don't care whether it's Bible-based or not. The end result is I got better students in my school, and they want that coming.
Right. Wow. Now, I'm hoping your mind is going, wow, what could we do? And I hope your heart, honestly, to use my wife's phrase, I hope your heart is full. I hope your heart is pounding, going, we could maybe take an opportunity like this or something of this nature and run with it. At least investigate it, check it out. How would they do that?
Well, if you want to look at the umbrella of school ministries, it's schoolministries.org,
Okay.
and they have a website and they can look at that. If you want to connect with me, I'm more than happy to bring you into that conversation, talk to you on the phone, whatever it would be. You can get a hold of me at Bob, B-O-B, at Youth, Y-O-U-T-H, Link, L-I-N-K, ministries, spelled out, .org, and you can connect with me there. I have had an antiquated old website. Anybody ever had those? It's being restructured right now and redone, so it's hopefully going to get relaunched here. But if you Google that, you'll go, oh, what happened in it? It was just getting too old. The older we get, you younger eyes look at things and go,
It was the black screen with the red, the MySpace. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, they'll say, Pastor Bob, your website needs work on it.
Yeah.
And I go, I think it looks well. It is, the older we get, the more it is, I have to have younger eyes look at it. And it is now in a major redo.
Yeah.
And we got to do that because it's important that we connect with you.
Okay, good. I hope that makes some sense. I hope that excites you. And even if for some reason your area pushes it back a little bit, can you at least rejoice in this? God is doing big things. My brother in California, I'm repping YouthLink right now. When he's student pastor down in Fullerton for, 15 years, they still have release time in Orange County, LA County, because Bob was telling me 6 of the major counties in SoCal still have release time. So even if your area may not be there yet, could you at least, as part of the body of Jesus, go, praise God, this is happening. And then I would say, make it a prayer request. Lord, how can we bring something of this nature to students? So yeah, you're tapping in, you're building up your disciples who are going to be the players to reach, but then you also could be hands-on in reaching yourself, reaching another generation. Why not? At least take a look at it. Bob, thank you for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Enjoy being here. Thank you so much.
And as I always say, signing off and tapping out, what you do matters because students matter, because the gospel matters. Have an amazing week.
Cool.